Hello everyone, back tuning into today's video. We're going to be doing the 5-day forecast today, having a detailed look at the weather for the next 5 days in the British Isles, and of course we'll be taking us up towards Christmas, so we are going to attempt to come up with a forecast for Christmas Day in the United Kingdom. Now before I get on with the video, I just want to talk about the advertising. There'll usually be a video ad overlaying my weather videos at gazweathervids.com, and please play those videos. You'll be supporting gazweathervids.com by doing that. I want to mention the websites I'm using for the video. We've got the charts going from weathercentral.de and the weatheroutlook.com. Also the radar picture coming from the UK Met Office. You can find all three of those websites on my links page. Now the main story about this 5-day forecast is going to be the rain. Some really heavy rain coming up over the next few days. There's certainly, as I said yesterday in the video, almost certainly going to be flooding in some parts of the country, and some unfortunate people will be having floods for Christmas. It's going to be a very sombre and nasty Christmas for those places that find themselves flooded. So apologies if you do find yourself on the wrong side of this rain. So this is the current radar picture from the UK Met Office. We can see we've got the first area of rain moving in off the Atlantic. It's quite sporadic across England and Wales, some heavier bursts mixed in, but it's really quite heavy up here to the northwest, across western Scotland down into Northern Ireland. And what we're going to find through the rest of today is that this weather front and this area of rain moves northwards and eastwards. Again, it'll continue to be quite sporadic across England and Wales, but there will be some heavier bursts surrounding places. Heavier though for northern England and much of Scotland. Some of this could be really quite heavy indeed. So it's a cloudy, damp day with outbreaks of rain coming and going across England and Wales. Heavier rain for Scotland, Northern Ireland and Northern England, and all the time driven on by a freshening south to southeasterly wind. Temperatures today up to around 8, 9, maybe 10 degrees in the far southwest. 10 is 50 Fahrenheit, but in the north we're looking at temperatures of just 3, 4 or 5, so quite a chilly day really, especially with the wind and rain getting up. Now let's have a look at the Met Office facts charts for tonight, because this is when things start to pep up with this rain. This system here will be moving up from the southwest. It's triple point low, and this will be producing another pulse of very heavy rain across England and Wales. So the rain will get heavier overnight across England and Wales, giving some really heavy falls of rain in some places, over an inch of rain quite widely, up to 50 millimetres of rain. In some places that's 2 inches of rain, and that rain, as I said, will be particularly heavy for England and Wales, but it continues wet with these other weather fronts up here to the north, so Scotland and Northern England will stay cloudy and wet through the course of the night. So generally it's quite a wet night really across all parts of the country is the best. Temperatures to southeasterly wind up here across the east of Scotland, and that will make it feel quite cold up there, but not a particularly cold night coming up tonight. As we move through into Thursday, we've got this area of low pressure really developing across the country, so it's going to be a cloudy, wet day, all parts seeing outbreaks of heavy rain, but rain particularly heavy across England and Wales in the morning, and then that probably moving up towards Scotland and Northern England, Northern Ireland as well through the afternoon, and maybe in the southwest the rain will ease off, but generally many places tomorrow will stay dull and wet right way through the day, with heavy outbreaks of rain. These weather fronts taking a long time to move across the country because they're being blocked by this large area of high pressure up over Scandinavia. So it's going to be a really dull, wet and windy day, very unpleasant day across many parts of the country. And as that rain pushes up in towards southern and central parts of Scotland, I think we'll find it turning increasingly wintry over the high ground, turning increasingly to snow for central Scotland. Temperatures tomorrow just 2s, 3s, 4s for Scotland, 5s, 6s and 7s down in towards the Midlands, and 8, 9s and 10s down in the far south and southwest of the country. Moving through to Friday, and that weather front is really still going strong up over Scotland and Northern England. We've got a very weakest of transient ridges then coming in from the south, ahead of this next area of low pressure developing in the Atlantic. This brings us more heavy rain over the weekend. But for Friday, we've got cloud and rain for Scotland and Northern Ireland for much of the day. Will be some sleet or snow over high ground probably, and maybe a few flakes coming down to lower levels as well later on, as that wintry mix begins to die out and this weather front finally starts to ease off. Further south, probably quite a bit of dry weather for England and Wales actually. Not too bad in the morning, some sunny spells, maybe some fog patches. But through the afternoon, I think we'll find it clouding up and rain will come back into Ireland and southwest England ahead of this next area of low pressure. Temperatures in the north, just 2s and 3s and 4s again. In the south, well, probably around 7s, 8s for the Midlands, 9s, 10s for the far south and southwest of England. And then as we go into Saturday, it's a repeat story really, with the next area of low pressure sweeping in across the country, bringing more very slow moving weather fronts. So another really wet day on Saturday with heavy rain pushing in off the Atlantic. And this time it could turn increasingly to snow, I think, across Scotland, maybe even down in towards northern England as well. There could be some snow. Be keeping an eye on this as we get towards the higher resolution models with this period. There could well be some significant snow in the north on Saturday for a time, but eventually it will start to turn back to rain as mild air begins to push in from the south. For England and Wales, it remains really, from northern England southwards, I should say, for England and Wales, it remains really just cloudy and wet through much of Saturday. Again, the rain will be very heavy, over an inch, 2 inches of rain quite widely, on top of what's going to fall through tonight and Thursday. Obviously, we will be seeing problems with flooding. In the far south and southwest, that rain will ease off later on in the day. Some sunny spells will come through there, but really Saturday is another write-off with a lot of heavy rain. Temperatures eventually up to around 12 or 13 degrees in the far southwest on Saturday afternoon. That's 55 Fahrenheit, very, very warm for the time of year. But generally, from northern England northwards, those temperatures are really going to be struggling at just 1, 2, 3 degrees at best, and if even colder than that with this south-easterly wind really making it feel very, very cold indeed. Now we finish with the facts charts, and beyond this we move to the generic charts from the GFS model from weathercentral.d. This is a chart for a Sunday, and we're taking those weather fronts further and further north, introducing this much warmer, much milder southerly to southwesterly wind. So Sunday is basically going to be a case of seeing the cloud and rain gradually moving north. Any snow across central and northern Scotland will turn back to rain as milder air digs in. And further south, we'll probably see a brightening up process going on through Sunday with some sunny spells coming through. Eventually becoming very mild across England and Wales on Sunday afternoon, with temperatures between around 9 and 13 degrees, so up into the low to mid 50s Fahrenheit. And it is a milder day probably for Scotland as well, although temperatures will take time to pick up, eventually getting up to around 5 or 6 degrees. Going into Christmas Eve, and we're still maintaining this very mild southerly wind across the country, probably bringing a cold front into the west, so we may take a band of cloud and rain in across Ireland, western Scotland, Wales, southwestern parts of England through the day, but the central eastern parts of England in particular, a good deal of fine weather on Christmas Eve, and mainly dry with sunny spells and patchy cloud. Very mild, could be a really, really mild Christmas Eve with temperatures possibly up to 12, 13 at the outside. There's a chance of 14 degrees in the southeast on Christmas Eve afternoon. That's 57 Fahrenheit, one of the mildest Christmas Eves for a long, long time, if that comes off, and certainly in stark contrast to the Victorian freezing Christmas that we had just 2 years ago. And then as we go through to Christmas Day, this is my first stab at it, and it looks like it's going to be a cooler day, but still mild. We'll clear away any rain across the country overnight, Christmas Eve into Christmas Day. And then really I think we're looking at a sunshine and showers sort of day for Christmas Day. Westerly winds, temperatures a little bit down, but still mild at around 5 or 6 in the north, around 9, 10, maybe 11 in the south, around the 5th Fahrenheit mark. So a few degrees down on what we have on Christmas Eve, but still generally quite a mild, quite a nice sort of Christmas day, and certainly Not much snow around, only over the very, very tops of the highest ground in Scotland. So just have a look at the charts from the Weather Outlook. This is the chart for today. We've got the rain here moving in across the country from the west. It will be turning increasingly cloudy and wet in the west through the day. Any brightness in the east will be fading very, very quickly. And then overnight it's going to turn really wet across England and Wales. We're going to see some heavy rain setting in across England and Wales tonight. Really torrential rain perhaps in places, and that goes on in towards tomorrow as well. And Thursday really does look like quite a write-off here across many parts of the country. Cloudy, wet, windy. It's going to be a horrible day on Thursday, and no doubt there will be the risk of some flooding. Eventually something brighter coming into the southwest later on in the day. Not too bad for Friday. This doesn't really show the rain up in the northeast. I think we will keep the rain going in the northeast for quite a while on Friday, but eventually it'll fizzle out and it may turn wintry. Elsewhere, not too bad. Some sunny spells, but we have more cloud and rain coming into the west later on in the day. Saturday is another write-off, I'm afraid. More heavy rain across many parts of the country. That rain will turn increasingly to snow as it pushes up into northern England, particularly central southern Scotland. Risk of seeing quite a snow event, I think, on Saturday, but eventually the milder areas pushing up behind it, turning any snow back to rain eventually. For Sunday, well, we've got rain here across many parts of the country. Temperatures are lifting up though, eventually becoming really quite mild across England and Wales as drier, brighter weather starts to move up. Christmas Eve, a nice day, better day, more in way of sunshine. Some rain into the west later on down a cold front, but for central and eastern parts, mainly dry, good sunny spells. Very mild on Christmas Eve, could be one of the mildest Christmas Eves for a long, long time. And then for Christmas Day, temperatures are a few degrees down, but it's mainly dry, a few showers, but not too bad at all, really, for Christmas Day itself. So that's it. We've got a lot of rain coming up to get through over the next few days. If you're at all worried about the flooding, do contact the floodline. You can find the floodline number by doing a Google search. Just put in floodline into Google, you'll get the floodline number. Definitely some people will be flooded. Very sorry and unfortunate for those people. But that's it for now. By the way, there'll be no weekend forecast on Saturday because I'll be doing it on Christmas Eve just this once. That's it for now. Thanks for watching.